welcome to my Periscope. This is going to be a special treat for you guys. A special gift tonight. Hey, Jen Salter, I'm so glad that you joined. I have a very special treat. Look, I've got these two precious girls sitting behind me. Hi. Y'all, welcome to my living room on a random Wednesday night. And these precious girls are my sweet girls. I love them so much. They live with me. They say hi, ladies. Hi. It's Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea Miller. Chelsea Miller. And Brittany says, hi, Shardee. And Miss Wendy, y'all, this is Shardee and Claire. You'll need to catch the replay. Okay, Kim, you can catch the replay. And thanks for all of you that are actually watching on the replay right now. I do appreciate that. And thank you for all the hearts. Blue and green and orange and all kinds of great hearts tonight. Pink, oh, there's pink hearts too. Thanks, you guys. Okay, so if you didn't watch the replay earlier today, I said that your special gift is your story. And so hopefully you guys all really took that to heart. And you know what your story is. These girls are making me laugh. You guys, I will introduce myself. I'm Trina Titus Lozano, and I am a counselor and ordained Christian minister. So I have been counseling since 1994, but I really started doing it full-time in 2010. And every once in a while, two things will happen. I will be working with people that I'll just have an extra desire to help beyond the walls of my office, and I just began to get really personal with them. And as just a counselor, I don't have the permission to do that legally, but as an ordained Christian minister, I do. So because of being a minister, that gives me the permission and the responsibility really to bring people home that really need extra attention and extra ministries. So that's what I did with Shardee. So I'm going to let her share her story first, and then I will introduce Claire. But right now, just so y'all know, my story is that these girls live with me and in our home with our family, and they've become part of our family. And they did not know each other before they both started living with us, but they met quickly, and now we're just all kind of part of the family. But anyway, so both of them had a real need at this time in their lives to become part of a family and to be part of a family. So we opened our doors and welcomed them into our home, and I asked them if they would just really start to tell their story tonight, because this is something new. Oh, they said maybe I didn't ask. I strongly suggested that they open their gift. I gifted this to them, an opportunity to tell their story, which is really a gift to them and a gift to the world. So, Shardee, I love this girl so much. And before I turn the camera on you, I have to tell a little bit about you. Here, I'll put you in the background. Oh, there she is. There's my girl, Shardee. Okay, so Shardee was referred to me through a mutual friend, and yeah, so maybe he'll watch on the replay. Felipe, if you watch on the replay, she was referred to me a year ago, Shardee. We met almost a year ago. It was last January. And so January 2015, we met, and she called, and she asked for a session, and I did not have any openings. But I put her on a waiting list, and I told her to get started on her life story, and so we met up a little while later. And she came to my house. She told me her story. She came to my house, and then she came to the office, and we started doing sessions. Well, fast forward to the summer, she had a little bit of a setback, and so I said, you know what, girl, I think you need to move in with me. So I can keep a little bit closer eye on you. So that's exactly what happened. So every once in a while, I get my fishing pole out, and then I have to reel somebody in. So anyway, so this is Shardee. This is my beautiful, beautiful, precious Shardee. Oh. Claire's commenting. She did. She's periscoping next to me. Yeah, Claire's periscoping. So Shardee, tell your story. Well, she's originally from New Mexico. Albuquerque, but anyway, she's a Texan now. So tell a little bit about your story, but try not to rock, because you're making us all a little dizzy. Okay. She's in the rocking chair.
Okay, better. So when I wrote my story out for Trina, it took me forever, probably 2 months, because I just wanted every detail written out and So I'll try to share my whole life story in a little bit of a nutshell from what I've learned about myself. Really been studying myself since I've been here, and since I moved to Texas, I've been kind of on a journey of searching truth and then really finding myself and who I am.
Tell everybody how old you are.
27.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I'm 27. And I lease apartments, and I just started a new job marketing and being a co-coach for a fitness company called Iron Tribe.
I know you're in a rocking chair, so it's hard not to rock. But you can move to the floor if you want.
Okay.
That might be better.
All right.
So everybody won't get like too,
I like it on the floor. I always sit on the floor.
Sit on the floor. We're just like hanging out in our living room tonight.
Oh,
so you can sit on the floor and get comfy.
Okay, if you want to ask me any questions to probe, you can.
Yeah, if anybody wants to ask any questions. So anyway, just tell your story. So
Okay,
she
so
leases apartments right now, but she came to Texas.
Going back, like childhood was, I would describe it as drug culture. Claire said I should share a little bit more detail because that can be misinterpreted in a certain by other people,
Just
like
be
really
very
what
broad
or
spectrum.
yeah, like a broad spectrum, being raised in drug culture. But my mom was a full-blown heroin addict in and out of my life, and so that caused a lot of like rejection and abandonment issues, and I really just wanted her there. And my dad was a great provider and in my life, but always had different women in and out, and full-blown alcoholic. So I kind of just found, once I started experimenting, like I grew up in the atmosphere, so it was inevitable before I tried, to drink and smoke weed, and then it is a gateway drug. If anyone tells you different, it's
How old were you when you first began to use drugs?
I had my first Mike's Hard Lemonade in the 4th grade.
Oh.
But when I
that counts.
Yeah, when I first smoked pot, I was 13, like 12 or 13. No, I was 13.
Were you at home?
Yes. So I finally got the courage to do it with my brother, and I was like, at that moment, that was part of from what I was dealing with in being in a relationship. I know at 13 years old, to where I had already adapted to a codependency from men or from boys, better at that age. I was in this awkward relationship that I didn't think I could get out of, and so when I first smoked pot, it was like, hey man, I could do this. Like I could cope right here.
So your first relationship that was actually an unhealthy relationship was when you were probably 12 or 13?
13.
13. And how old was your boyfriend?
He was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question.
Well, I'm just going to fast forward. So when I met Shardee, let me do this so I can get in the camera with you.
Okay, come back.
Okay, we can.
You want me to hold the camera?
No, wait, I gotta turn my camera around. There's Claire. Woo.
Oh, hey.
There we are. Hey, okay, so when I met Shardee, actually, Claire, that's not a bad idea. You want to hold the camera? Okay.
I like seeing us better.
You do?
Can I? Yeah.
But, okay, you want to see
Do
us?
you want to hold my camera while I hold your camera?
No, it's okay. We'll just talk about it this way. So, when I met Shardee, she told me this part of her story, and really, she had already become clean and sober. So the drug addiction part of her life had been really completely dealt with, and she was clean and sober for the most part. Still drinking some,
Going out to bars
and going out to bars every once in a while. But your real problem was men. Real problem. So she was chronically in abusive relationships.
And addicted to physical touch.
And addicted to sexual relationships. And very unhealthy relationships. So, will you tape this now?
Yeah.
Okay, so she was very addicted to unhealthy relationships, and it took a while for us to move past that. That was the biggest thing. At the time that I first started working with her, I did not know that was going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I thought drugs, okay, got that out of the way. I thought with parents hurt. Really did a lot of counseling for that, and thought that was good and out of the way.
And actually, the neat thing is Jesus had become real in her life. Jesus had become real in the life of her sister and her brother-in-law and her mother. And so they started going to church. So tell a little bit about your testimony, and then how you made the transition from just knowing about God to really pursuing wanting to be a Christian and wanting to live a life of a Christian rather than living a life of a drug addict. Because you had already made that decision when I met you. However,
I still slipped away.
Yeah, you hadn't really come full circle.
I guess I always considered myself like fully surrendered though, but I guess maybe it was just part of the process. I think actually what it was is, I'll go back to my story, but learning how to make decisions not led out of emotion is what changed it for me. Because I always had a desire that I thought I was living a life submitted to God, but I still couldn't like get over these certain things. Like I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing them, but I still found myself doing them. And until I learned what it meant to have a high level of emotional intelligence and make decisions out of logic instead of out of emotion.
Yeah. This is all very new, y'all.
Yeah.
And I've been periscoping about this the last few months. And Shardee has
changed my life.
She has really raised her EQ from here to here. So it's been interesting to see how far she's come since she moved in with us, which was just late September. Or early September, late August, early September. Yeah. When was it?
Yeah, it was early September.
It was early September. It was so recent. So as a result of just like the light bulb finally going on, she's like, wait a minute.
And I knew that also in order to get what I wanted, I was searching for what I wanted, but settling. And I knew that if I just kept going for the quick fix, I was never going to get what I really knew deep down that I deserved and wanted.
You have settled into a comfortability of being single for the first time since you were 12 years old, before you were 12.
Finally, I knew the breakthrough would come. I'm like, really? But when it finally lifted, it was like, oh my God, I'm really okay. And I can really, be okay.
Supporting yourself, making a living, having a good job, and trusting God on a much deeper level.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
what's your advice to people that are struggling with their self-esteem, struggling with codependent relationships?
Brittany applauses.
Because that is the whole thing, is
being codependent.
Oh, and just being stuck in abusive relationships.
That's Kitsch says, and girlfriends?
And girlfriends?
Like, girlfriends!
Yeah, girlfriends. Not just boyfriends, but girlfriends.
Oh,
because really breaking free from an unhealthy relationship. So many people get stuck. And in fact, this is part of her story too. Get stuck in a really unhealthy relationship. Like stuck. Like truly, truly stuck. When I met you, you were stuck.
Yeah, and didn't believe that. I think it's a self-worth,
battle.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Knowing, no, this is the best, and always justifying, finding, well, they're good at this and this and this, and this is really just the best for me, and
it's the best I can do.
It's the best I can do.
Really, a really good guy wouldn't want me.
Yeah, so.
Isn't that right? Because I was trying to tell her, Shardee, there's great guys out there. She's like, she kept thinking a really good guy wouldn't want me.
Yeah, I'm like, I would be awkward, and I'd be this, and I don't know if I
Not
can make
good
that
enough.
last forever, or maybe, so.
Because you kept going for guys that had the same background as you, guys that really grew up in that, really.
Yeah, because I could relate with them.
You could relate.
And I felt like they didn't judge me for my background. But now, living a life understanding the redemption power of God, knowing, He really does make all things brand new.
All things are new.
Yeah, that I don't have to, I'm free to actually sit here and tell my story to people, well, God really does pick you up and turn your whole life around and make everything new, step by step in the process.
And you know what your thing is now. Your gift is telling your story, because I mean, you're so gifted to tell people about the ability to recover from drug and alcohol addictions and from mother wounds, father wounds, and now you're finally recovered from abusive relationship wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Totally recovered. Whew. How's it feel to be totally recovered?
It's amazing.
on the other side because
I
you
really,
can help other people now.
Yeah, it feels awesome just because I knew like the same. It's that same feeling like when I overcame the addiction and I knew I had faith before. Like I know I can be free from this. I don't know how. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know what it's gonna be like. But I know that there's freedom for me. And this one, I'm like, okay, I know there's going to be freedom, but when? When is it going to happen?
And what do I have to do differently?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had to do everything differently.
Yeah, totally.
And most of all, embrace your worth, your value, and your singleness.
Mm-hmm. And understanding that singleness is a gift. And
you can be alone but not lonely.
Oh, yeah, and then taking advantage of it, too, because...
Yeah, you've got all this time.
I'm only 27, I'm already 27, but there's so many things, like I see my friends with kids and full families and married, their time is... They're dedicated
time
to their family. Yeah, their life is their family's life, and it's like, I get to do whatever I want.
You get to do whatever you want.
But my freedom used for whatever I want in a good way this
in
time.
In a good way, instead of resenting it.
Yeah.
Or else what happens, y'all, so often is somebody... it's your discontent no matter what. If you're married, it's like, oh, I just don't have enough time to myself.
Yeah, I won't be able
or
to
if you're
go
single
into
and not
marriage
married, if you're single and not married, it's like, oh, I'm just so tired of being alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, wait. No. We have to be content in whatever situation you're in.
Yeah.
And then if you're content now, then you'll be content later. Have you ever heard people say, she's all about fitness and health and nutrition, and she is like, she's like the queen of Iron Tribe. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, join Iron Tribe. She'll tell you about that. But anyway, so, but this is her thing. She's just so into all of this. Well, have you ever heard a statement of don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because you're going to buy everything that you shouldn't buy. And just
Literally
everything. End up throwing
Okay,
things away.
so in the same way, apply that to your dating life.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, don't
go shopping when you're
dating
hungry.
when you're hungry, when you're thirsty. You know, don't go dating when you're craving a relationship,
Right?
Or when you're dissatisfied with where you are. It's like just like if you're craving food, I'm dissatisfied. I'm craving food. So if you go grocery shopping, then you're gonna get the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And so you cannot be in the place of craving this relationship when you're thirsty, when you're hungry for this. It's like, no.
Yeah. That's what's
like,
that's what's awesome. Yeah,
It is
that's
awesome.
perfect because
It's so true.
Because coming through, I'm glad this was the last thing that I know there'll always be something, but for this season right now of like really overcoming and conquering, because I found going through drugs and alcohol that chasing after the quick fix, chasing after it, knowing like
The temporary high.
yeah, God gave me the revelation that nothing will fulfill me other than his presence. Nothing. And so I have that in the forefront, even though I still made a lot of mistakes, that he would be able to speak to me and I'd be able to listen to say, there's no life there.
And your
There's no
relationship
life
with
there
God
in
kept bringing you
relationships.
back.
Yeah, there's no life there if you go do that. Yeah, it might feel good for a second, but just like this and this, just like the addiction, just like all the other things you ran to, there's no life there. So finally it was like, okay, make the decision out of logic and the word and just
to
being
choose
a
a new
good
life.
person. Yeah.
Choose a new life.
You don't do that.
No, now that she's living with us, she's really getting the hang of this new life really good, and it's cool to have her part of our family, and so we love you. Thanks for sharing your story. Yep. Do you have any like advice to give to people who might be periscoping with us right now that are in the middle of a bad, wrong relationship, or maybe they're out of the relationship and just not recovered from it, not healed from it? Do you have some advice?
www.trinatitislozano.com. Watch her periscopes. She has so many success stories of helping people with relationships and single people getting out of them.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Pray first. I mean,
but you're right. Get a good counselor.
Yeah.
And also your faith.
Yeah, and then your faith. Ask God to show you ways out if you're in it, and to really give you eyes to see it for what it is. Because that was the problem is I think that I just really believed something different than actually was.
Yeah.
So if I could see the
clearly,
truth,
you have to see. And that's the whole...
And educate yourself on abusive relationships. Look for them. That's what
Yes.
See what narcissism really is, how it's defined. And so someone's very controlling, if they're wanting you to check in with them all the time, if they're extremely jealous, if they're extremely all that.
Yeah, and you think that they're loving you and
It's
that
like,
they're doing.
no, that's a really unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, but you believe that, and if you're believing that wrong, research it, and then get a counselor.
Yeah,
Someone
good
to help
counseling
you
really does
out.
help.
And get out of the relationship.
Yeah, be brave. Be brave to get out.
Yeah.
Even if it takes getting a restraining order, even if it takes, legal action or whatever, you really have to do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Because, and you had tried before, time and time again, but not able to understand logically that it really and truly was
Unhealthy. To say
that
the
is,
least.
that is like the biggest understatement of the year. It was not just unhealthy, it was downright horribly abusive. It was a horribly abusive relationship. She was like, is this unhealthy? Is this a toxic relationship? I'm like,
Oh yeah, so find somebody
horribly
accountable
abusive.
that you can, because that's really what helped is that,
well, that's where the self-awareness can really become real, is when you see someone else's perspective going.
And then I show her completely, I was brutally honest with everything, and like, oh, well, we talked about this, and this, and it's like, no, this is textbook of, this is wrong, and I'm like,
Abuse.
no way, and then I would study it
Big
more,
time
like,
abuse. Yeah.
this is wrong.
Messed up.
Yeah.
It's like men shouldn't be using you
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. They shouldn't be manipulating you. They shouldn't be using you. They shouldn't. And he was using you for sex. He's using you for money. He was using you for support. I thought she was giving him money for his. I was just like, wait a minute here. You're giving him money to help pay his rent when you're not. No. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I just was like, wait, you're being used sexually, you're being used financially, you're being used spiritually in every single way.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns you into the same thing if you're not careful. You turn around and you do it to other people or right back to them. Yeah. So it's a bad cycle.
But you're out of it.
Oh, thank God.
You're out of it. Like, truly out. Like, you think differently, you behave differently, you don't even look the same.
Yeah.
Like, you carry yourself differently, your whole countenance is different. You're a new person. Woo!
And now I'm like, I don't have time, even if I was to date.
Ain't nobody got time for that. and completely free from sexual addictions, which had been an issue for you since you were 12. Now that you look back, and when you think about, 12 years old, you see what I'm saying? With a 15, 16-year-old, like now you look back and you're like,
oh yeah, that was
no
wrong.
wonder.
And
Like,
it's been happening for a long time. So
yeah, no wonder my brain was programmed incorrectly. And now you're, I taught abstinence education for 20 years. And I talked a lot about renewed virginity and what it means to start over and to be pure again because of waiting from now on. So pushing the reset button and praise God that He makes all things new and that He washes you white as snow. And
that was the thing I
it's
really
so cool.
thought. I was like, I can't live without this. Like,
but you didn't.
I
You
really
didn't.
can't
You
live
love,
without
I mean,
this.
you
Yeah,
love
and
your
then
new
it's
life, your new mind, your new freedom.
Yep.
Oh.
And also watch Dr. Caroline Leaf. That's what really helps me through to listen to her a whole lot. Just
to reprogram your brain.
Yeah, you can really have the ability to create new pathways in your brain to help you think differently, to live a completely different life. It's pretty
amazing.
fascinating how we're made. So.
Pretty fascinating. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story. Yay! Okay, so Claire Bear, I want you to share your story a little bit. So we got to switch. We got to make the switch.
Oh, but we're out
Thanks
of,
for
we're
listening
out of
to me.
time, aren't
We're
we?
not out of time. Yeah.
Oh no! Maybe we should go back to the chairs and.
You know what? I'll sit right by you. That's good. You're good. You're lighting. You've got the good lighting on you, sweetie. Okay.
Yes.
I'll come over here with you.
Blinded by the white.
So
Anyway,
I'll
okay.
introduce Claire a little bit. Am I in the camera too?
Now you are.
No, you
Okay,
are.
so I will introduce Claire a little bit. A different story with Claire is she was I've known her since before she was born. I was friends with her parents.
As a product of your friends.
Yeah,
yes.
we were all and I met her parents in a Young Married Sunday School class at church back in would have been in 1980.
Oh my gosh,
1985.
that's crazy.
So Brooke was about about a year old. Yeah, so I met
6
them.
years before I was even born.
I know.
Nuts.
But anyway, it's a long time, and I had reconnected. Well, we'd always stayed connected to a certain extent with her parents, and her dad and my husband had been really good friends over the years, but we had lost touch, and so reconnected on social media, on Facebook, and Claire had a very bad day, a very bad day,
That
and
was an
she
understatement.
ranted on Facebook, a very long rant. And so I sent her an inbox
Mic drop.
message and I said, I'm a counselor, and if you need to talk to anyone, you need to give some advice, and if you need to get out of where you are, then
We're reaching out.
why don't you come to Texas and visit us, and maybe I can help.
No, you
Because
said
she
I have a
was
bed
done.
if you need a bed.
I have a bed,
You
whatever.
offered-
Bottom
offered.
line is, I offered for her to come here because she was in a bad place, and you know when someone's in a bad place when they're gonna put how bad it is on a Facebook
And like
status.
that was this year, so I was a
That was
full-grown
June.
adult. Yeah, so it wasn't
June.
even like a high school. My life sucks rant. No, that was.
You're 24,
Yes.
and
I am 24 years old. So yeah, like Trina said, I was raised in a pretty good family. I mean, I had a really good childhood. Older
opposite of
sister-
Shardee.
Yeah, which is funny.
Yeah, and we're becoming great friends.
We are the best of friends. Sorry, Shannon. No, I'm just kidding.
Housemates now.
But really when I hit high school was when it kind of all started to get real and serious for us. We kind of realized that my mom had a pretty serious drinking problem, and my sister ended up being extremely rebellious, and she's the one who actually got me started smoking pot, and really introduced me into drugs and sex and alcohol, and got in my first serious relationship when I was 15 with a guy that I thought I was going to marry, and he ended up breaking my heart. And I went into a serious depression after that, pretty bad. Ended up having to go to therapy for that one. It's cool, we're on good terms now. And then just hopped from serious relationship to serious relationship after that until college, when I got back into young life and didn't date for 4 years after that. Stayed boy abstinent for the most part for 4 years. And then I had applied to go to Messiah College and I wasn't accepted, and that kind of derailed me, and living with my mom and my parents, who were really just going downhill relationship wise, just kind of put me on a bad path, and I started smoking again a lot, and started doing drugs other than pot, but really I didn't take that too far, thank God. I kind of always had a straight head about that for the most part, for as much as a drug addict can have a straight head. I apologize, I am suffering from a cold right now, so I got raspy voice. And then I started hanging out with the wrong group of friends, which is pretty hard for me to admit right now because they were my group of friends up until 3 months ago. And I started seeing this guy who I thought was great, and it turns out it was the most abusive relationship of my life. And it took up until me moving here for me to even realize that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always had a very strong faith in God. I went to church camp growing up, went to church growing up. I was baptized very young. But when I wasn't on the right path, I just didn't bother at all. I wouldn't go to church at all. I wouldn't pray at all. I wouldn't do much of anything at all. And then when I got back down here, like my mom would tell me over the past year or so, like, you need to get back into young life. That's where you were happiest. That's when you were at your best. And I'd blow her off because I
You're mad.
I was mad. I was
Really
very mad. I was so mad, dude.
When I first started, when I saw that rant, and then when Claire first came to visit us, and I hadn't seen her since she was a little girl. I mean, I'd seen her once, but I didn't really know her.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, this is an angry girl. Angry girl. She's hurt.
I was
She's
hurt
big time."
And oh man, you should have seen me. I had serious anxiety issues too.
Serious anxiety.
So, I mean, over the past 3 months,
Anxiety
has been
and depression and just
yeah, like I couldn't
hurt.
live sober anymore. Like Trina literally had to pull me through a detox for 2 weeks because I couldn't eat sober. I couldn't think sober. My first 2 weeks here, I hardly ate. I drank smoothies because I couldn't eat. And I mean,
tell them about how much of a habit you had.
I would wake up, get stoned right from waking up. I used to be on an Adderall prescription because my parents thought I had ADD when I was in middle school. So I got an Adderall prescription very young. So I really started to abuse that in college. And I mean, I would wake up, I would smoke pot, get stoned, pop an Adderall so I could at least stay awake throughout the day because smoking just puts you out. And then if I had to work, I would go to work still stoned. And then I would smoke on my breaks. I would go home at the end of the night, smoke some more, and go to bed. Like I literally
And your whole paychecks were pretty much going to paying for that, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I came down here with no money saved up. Bless my parents for giving me, they were like, Trina told them, like, you give her one more dose of money and then that's it. Like, no more money after that.
Yeah, she's a big girl now.
I am a big girl now.
But you reestablished your relationship with God, which has been huge.
Yes.
Huge. Got clean and sober.
Yeah. And it wasn't really an addiction issue for me. It was just a I didn't care issue.
It was an I didn't care issue. Absolutely.
I remember 4 or 5 months ago having a conversation with that guy I was seeing, and I was just having another crappy day, and I was just like, I am completely okay with the fact that my existence has no meaning on this earth. I remember saying that like verbatim. And like over the past 2 years, I would go to bed most nights crying and just saying to myself, why are the good days so far and few?
Yeah.
Like the bad days were outweighing the good days. It was probably like one good day every other week.
And what about now?
Now it's like I haven't had a bad day since I got down here. Like, no lie. You pray every night when you go to bed and you just want to be like thankful for your day or like throw up all your worries. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm just repeating all my prayers because I'm just like, thanks.
Got no worries.
Thank you for
and you have got an awesome job and a new career.
Yes.
And doing really great.
Yeah.
You know your life has purpose.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. I was just
and one purpose is to help other people because almost every teenager that is that age can you guys see a theme? You girls see a theme? Almost every teenager that is that age is going to go through a lot of trauma, and especially when their home is in turmoil, which is not unusual. Remember, you've got more homes that are in turmoil than homes that are solid.
Yeah.
So you've got homes that are in turmoil, and then drugs and alcohol so easy to access, and casual sex being such a thing that relationships and casual sex, and so everything just leaves you feeling dead and empty, and leaves you
think it's the answer, and then
none of it is the answer, and then you feel dead and empty and worthless and hopeless.
Yeah.
Like your life has no meaning, and that is exactly not the case.
Right.
But when you can reconnect with Jesus and you can understand your value, how special you are, and how your story helps other people. Because every teenager, and I love that she's now back involved with Young Lives, and she's volunteering here locally in Colleyville, and that's going to continue so she can reconnect with other teenagers and really help them through the exact same things.
Yeah.
Because life is life. Life is hard, right? And life is hard. It is not easy. It is hard. There's things that we have to go through, but everybody has a story. And my hardships, my stories, my trials are different than your trials were.
Right.
And are. And more than your trials were and are. We all have trials. We have had trials. We will continue to have trials. But as we share our trials with other people and we're vulnerable, that connection is really the gift that you give to the world, because trials that you've already got through, you can then help other people navigate the way through that and help give them hope. You can get through this. You can break up with the guy that is abusing you, or you can break up with the girl that is abusing you. It goes both ways. Yeah. You can let go of an abusive relationship. You can value yourself more. And I know that you can, because if these girls can do it, y'all can do it too. Right. Even no matter what the case is, you can value yourself. You can be free from addictions, from drug addictions, alcohol addictions, sex addictions, pornography addictions, just plain old bad habits that are really destroying your life. So all of these things, the world makes them seem like this is the temporary high. This is the fix that's going to make you happy. And it just leads to destruction. So then there's nothing. There's no hope after that. But then once you understand that Jesus has
a good plan.
Yeah, man, he's got a great plan for your life. And the plan does not include addictions. Doesn't include any of that. But it's so great to not have to rely on any of that stuff, because you already have peace, you already have joy, you already have purpose. And so you don't need a temporary high. You're already joyful.
Right. And I think it's just the craziest part about it all is that, like, in my last relationship, like my 3-year one that just ended, I was an abuser in it. Like, when I look back, it's weird to think, like...
And Shardee had said the same thing, because hurting people hurt people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so first you're a victim, and then you become the perpetrator. And
and then it's just
hurting people hurt people.
Yeah,
right,
and then,
exactly.
Then it just turns into a blame game where it's like, well, he did this, but then she did that, but he did this, and it's like...
And then you look in the mirror and you're like, who am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Who am I, and why am I doing this
and
stuff?
that was really hard to get over until I had to wake
come on,
up.
let's all get in the camera together.
Shardee.
Okay. Okay, we got to all three get in the camera tonight. Okay. Well, thank y'all. A few people have stuck with us.
Go that way. I'll get on my
knees. Get above me. A few people stuck with us, and I know a lot of others are going to watch on the replay. Thank you, girls, for sharing your story.
Yeah.
You got your tongue sticking out.
Oh my gosh.
These are the girls that God has brought together. That Brittany says, Dad, I will beat you in the most hearts. Awesome. I love that Brittany and James are competing for hearts. Yeah. Anyway, so God has gifted me with a blessing of being able to share our home with these two precious girls, with Claire and Shardee right now. And I just hope and pray that you guys are all inspired to share your gifts with others. What did she just do?
She just smelled my
They're crazy. Hey, we're having a good time because, hey, nobody needs any drugs or alcohol around here to have a good time. So,
right?
Yeah, right? Okay, God bless you guys. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Christmas.
Thanks, girls, for sharing your gift. Group hug. Group hug. Yay. Love my girls.
Oh my gosh, it's like a ombre.
Yeah, right?
Like white tan tannis.